What is going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, where today we're going to be taking a look at Expanded, diving headfirst, preparing for Fort Wayne Regionals this coming weekend. I will be there, so if you see me, definitely come up, say what's up. Hope to meet some of you guys out there. I'm not sure what deck I'm going to be playing yet, testing a bunch of different stuff, and one of the things I've been testing a little bit is Turbo Darkrai, focused around this Darkrai-EX. Very good deck in Expanded. We get a lot of cool new cards, such as the other Darkrai-EX. We get Dark Patch, all kinds of cool stuff we can use, other things that we will talk about. So let's go ahead, jump right in, starting off with Darkrai-EX here, with the Dark Pulse attack. 20 damage. This attack does 20 damage for each Darkness Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So very easy for us to get a super high damage output very quickly. And we could also use Dark Head potentially in this deck. 80 damage if your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep. This attack does 80 more damage. We do have a way to put our opponent's active Pokemon to sleep. We'll talk about that in just a second. But continuing on here, we do also have one Darkrai-EX from Dark Explorers with the Dark Cloak ability. We were talking about this earlier, I know. Each of your Pokemon that has any Dark Energy attached to them has no retreat cost. So it makes it very easy for us to maneuver Pokemon around our field. We have a lot of unfavorable starters, so if we just slap a Darkness Energy on them, retreat them back, pretty easy for us to do that. And then we also have the Night Spear attack, 90 damage. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Going to be good against some of those decks with lower HP Pokemon, anything that has to evolve. And if we just want to soften some stuff up early on, Night Spear can be a good attacking option for us. So we are running a 3-1 split of those guys. And then we also have 3 copies of Darkrai-GX with that Restoration ability. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench, then attach a Dark Energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So lets us get more Dark Energy in play, just boosts the damage of Dark Pulse with Darkrai. Continuing on here with the Darkness Pokemon, we also have one copy of Malamar-EX with Hyper Hypnosis. When you attach an energy from your hand to this Pokemon, you may use this ability. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. So instant sleep can be good if our opponent flips tails. They stay asleep. It's very difficult for them to deal with that. Then we also have Maximar here, 60 damage. Flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage times the number of heads. Very, very, very rarely will we use Maximar, but it is something we can definitely do. So let's go ahead and continue on here. Oh, also I should mention, with the 2 attacks here on Darkrai-GX, we have Dark Cleave, hits 130 damage, hits some good number for us, knocking out things like Baby Volcanion, knocks out things like Yveltal XY, and then also Dead and GX. If your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition, that Pokemon is knocked out. So, in combination with Malamar's Hyper Hypnosis ability, pretty easy for us to just get a free 2 prizes maybe off of Dead End GX. So let's go ahead and continue on here. We'll look at some of the one-of Pokemon we have. We've got Oblivion Wing Yveltal. Attach a Dark Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Just a good non-EX attacker and a good way to get more energies in play. We also, of course, have Hoopa-EX with Scoundrel Ring, letting us search out 3 EX Pokemon and putting them in our hands. And one Jirachi-EX with the Stellar Guidance ability. We're running Jirachi over Tapu Lele because we're playing Hoopa. Just makes it so much easier to get Jirachi on the first turn to use a supporter. Something like Hex Maniac or Ghetsis can be very disruptive on the first turn, even Delinquent, something like that. Having cards like that to search out with Jirachi makes this card very good. And then we also have one copy of Sudowoodo with that Road Block ability. Rayquaza is a deck that is getting a decent amount of hype heading in to Fort Wayne, so I want to have an option against that deck. Sudowoodo just basically makes that matchup pretty much an auto win. Pretty difficult for Rayquaza to get around that. They can knock it out. We don't have recovery in this deck, but if they are knocking out Sudowoodo, that's more damage that we're getting to set up so that we can just trade evenly with them with Dark Pulse Darkrai. And then we also have 2 copies of Shaymin-EX to round out the Pokemon here with that setup ability so that we can just continue to draw cards through our deck. So let's go ahead and expand it here. We'll look at the rest of what we have to work with. 3 copies of Battle Compressor, letting us search our deck for up to 3 cards and discard them. Very good with Darkrai-GX, and also just getting rid of Darkness Energies for Dark Patch. Speaking of which, Dark Patch here, attach a basic Dark Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Dark Pokemon. So more energy acceleration. Dowsing Machine, the A-spec of choice for us, going to be great to get back Stadium, get back the 50th Seeker or support or anything like that. Gonna be good to get back Fighting Fury Belt even, and can use it to get back Dark Patch or Max Elixir. Anything like that, Dowsing Machine is a good option for us. And of course, we do discard cards with it, so we can potentially discard Darkrai and some Dark Energies. We've also got 4 copies of Max Elixir. Energy Acceleration is the name of the game today in this video, letting us look at the top 6 cards of our deck and attaching an energy we find there to a benched basic Pokemon. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, going to be pretty key on turn 1, just going to fetch out Hoopa-EX to get our entire board basically totally set up. And we've also got 4 VS Seeker here, letting us reuse any of the supporters in our discard pile. 2 copies of Sky Field. I like Sky Field as the stadium of choice. I've seen some lists with things such as Parallel City, I've seen Silent Lab, I've even seen lists with Verbank City Gym and Hypnotoxic Laser in them, but I like Sky Field a lot. We do have a ton of basic Pokemon that can go onto our bench, so we want to just have as much room to do that as possible. Also with the 3 copies of Darkrai-GX, which is a heavier count than I've seen a lot of lists running. Most lists are just choosing to run 2, but having the 3rd one with Skyfield just lets us get extra damage a lot quicker, so we're going to keep up with that and see how that goes for us. We've got 1 copy of AZ, going to be good to get things like Shaymin and Jirachi off of the bench. Maybe we can use that if our bench is full to get down like a Darkrai to do more damage. We can throw down Yveltal so we can Oblivion Wing that turn. Even throw down Malamar or something like that, and also just gets those liabilities up off our bench, or if they get brought to the active and we don't want to put a Dark Energy on them to have to retreat them with Dark Cloak, we can just use AZ to pick them up. We've also got 1 copy of Colress, a really strong draw supporter here in Expanded. Like this card a lot, especially when we're using Skyfield, and lots of decks just really rely heavily on having a lot of benched Pokemon. We've also got the 1 copy of Delinquent, like this card a lot, with Jirachi, just being able to search it out so easily. If our opponent ever puts themselves at 3 cards, we can just Delinquent them away and really put them in awkward positions. And that Delinquent and then Ghetsis here are 2 cards that just can potentially just flat out win games for us. Ghetsis going to be good against things like Night March that are super reliant on items on the first turn if we go first. Also things like Yveltal Maxie's decks, if any of the Yveltal decks are still running Maxie's Hitting Ball Trick for Gallade, since Archeops is of course banned, and then also things like Archie's Blastoise that could be out there. Ghetsis is just a strong supporter option in general. Can be good later on in the game as well to get rid of VS Seekers. If our opponent's not expecting it, Ghetsis can be very good. 2 copies of Guzma, going to let us bring up whatever our opponent has down on the bench that we want to take a knockout on. 1 copy of Hex Maniac, going to turn off abilities, pretty key card here. We've got 1 copy of In, just a little shuffle draw, and then also Disruption on our opponent's end of the field, and 2 copies of Professor Juniper to round out the supporters. We are playing a thinner draw supporter count, but I think that's okay with VS Seeker and Battle Compressor. That does make us a little more liable to a Ghetsis of our own, but we'll just have to see what happens. We've got 2 copies of Fighting Fury Belt here, like this card a lot in here. Just making our Darkrai's have 220 HP is super, super good. And then 12 Darkness Energies to round the deck out. And yeah, this is the list we're working with right now, guys. Let me know what you think down below. I could maybe see cutting the 3rd Darkrai-GX for like a 13th energy. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens, but we're going to go ahead and hop in here to the Versus ladder and see if we can grab a couple of games and hopefully a couple of wins. As always, guys, definitely leave a like down below on this video. Lets me know that you're enjoying seeing what I'm doing, and yeah, helps me out a ton. So please feel free to do that if you're enjoying. Also, definitely come up and say hello to me at Fort Wayne Regionals this weekend if you see me there. Definitely would love to get to say hello to some of you guys, take pictures, all that stuff, whatever you want to do. So, we do find a game here, Fat Random, playing a Fairy Metal Psychic Colorless deck. So, this sort of makes me think Mega Gardevoir. Could also be Gardevoir GX, both of which can be hard matchups. They have high HP and are resistant to Dark. But we'll see what happens, and if it's the Mega Gardevoir deck, they do just play the 4 copy of Dimension Valley, 4 copy of Max Potions, which is pretty annoying to deal with. Kind of an awkward hand here. I think we'll start Jirachi over Shaymin. Yeah, I think we start Jirachi over Shaymin here. It does feel a little weird, but we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll see what my opponent starts on their end. Yeah, my first gut instinct is that this will be Mega Gardevoir EX, but We'll see what it is, and sure enough, we see Gardevoir-EX, so Mega Gardevoir. The idea behind this deck is that they use the Dimension Valley Stadium, and for just 1 energy, use Despair Ray on Mega Gardevoir to continually hit for a consistent 100 to 160 damage. They're never taking one-hit knockouts unless it's something like Jirachi-EX with very low HP, but very easy for them to just be super, what's the word? To have a lot of longevity. They stick around for a while due to max potion, only the 1 energy requirement, so very easy for them to stick around for a while. So we're going to see double Gardevoir-EX and a Shaymin-EX come out onto the field. See those guys going down onto the bench. Fairy Energy goes to the active, and a Shaymin will set up for 3 cards. So maybe my opponent didn't have Jirachi in the deck, prized Jirachi, something like that. Yeah, gonna go ahead and pass. So no supporter from my opponent. We will go ahead with this Ultra Ball. We'll get rid of, we can get rid of a couple Darkness Energies, or we can get rid of just Juniper. I don't mind getting rid of just 2 Darks, I don't think. We'll go grab Hoopa as long as it's in here. It looks like it is. And, we have Hex. So Hex can be pretty good for us as well. So we'll go ahead and grab the Hoopa. With Hoopa, we'll go ahead and search out Dark Cloak Darkrai, the other Darkrai. We have Shaymin in our hand, so we could just get Malamar, or we could get another Darkrai. I think we'll go ahead and just get Malamar. We won't use Hyper Hypnosis this turn, most likely, since they will just be able to evolve, but Hyper Hypnosis can be good for us later on, that is for sure. So we will attach a Dark Energy to Jirachi. We're going to want to retreat it this turn because it does only have 90 HP. We don't want to give up those prizes if we don't have to. And, yeah, don't find... Okay, so this is fine. We'll go ahead and battle Compressor. With Compressor, we'll get rid of a Darkrai-GX. We'll get rid of a couple Darkrai-GX. We've got a couple energies in there already. We're going to Colress, so we'll shuffle some back. We could get rid of... something that we could use Dowsing Machine for right now, like Sky Field, but I don't really want to play Sky Field. That gives them an easier time to knock stuff out. Probably won't need Sudowoodo, so we can just get rid of Sudowoodo here. Or we just get rid of the 3rd Darkrai-GX, I guess. Yeah. Let's get rid of triple Darkrai-GX. Sort of weird, but... And we'll go ahead and just Colress here for 9 cards. See what we can get set up. We do get a couple Dark Patches. 3 Max Elixirs, actually. That's amusing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and throw Fighting Fury Belts on this guy. We can Max Elixir. We do hit. I kind of want to hold these. This guy's resistant to Psychic, that's right. Okay. We can just retreat to Malamar, pass. Let Malamar take a hit. He won't one-hit knock it out. Then we can just attach a Dark Energy, retreat it, and then maybe swing with Darkrai-EX. Kind of risky to play the other Max Elixirs. Like, I wanted to get 1 more energy in play, but I think we can just chill with the rest of them for now. So kind of conservative here, but we'll just go ahead and pass onto my opponent's turn. Let's see what they do. They will not be able to knock out Malamar, and we could always AZ or something like that if we can find a Battle Compressor. Maybe I could have compressed AZ. That's a decent supporter to get rid of. Would also heal the damage from Malamar, so... but we'll see an Ultra Ball from my opponents. We'll see if they can find Spirit Link plus Mega Gardevoir. We see them actually just discard 2 Gardevoirs. Oh, and that's something else I didn't think of. This deck runs Karen normally, so... Okay, he's going to Super Rod, though, so that's good. Maybe a mistake on his part. He probably should have put the Execute into his hand first. Just a little misstep there. I guess he wanted to draw an extra card, so I understand it, but... Anyway, Karen can be annoying since that will put our 3 Darkrai-GXs back into the deck. Pretty annoying, but if we have to deal with that, we'll deal with that when we come to it. So Ultra Ball, they will get the Mega Gardevoir in play here. Delinquent is going to be a good card for us for sure. Being able to get rid of their stadiums, force them to have multiple energies to attack. Going to really just disrupt them that way if we can. And we see a Despair Ray. Probably just going to get rid of 2 Shaymins and the Hoopa. Yep, going to leave the 2 Gardevoirs on the bench. So we're going to be trading 2-hit knockouts here more than likely. Yeah, would love to have Delinquent right now, but we don't have access to it. We can just Colress, I think, with this hand. So we'll attach a energy to the active. Put the active to sleep. Yes. We'll go ahead and Max Elixir, see if we can hit. We do. We can Max Elixir again. Darkrai-EX. Okay, so let's see. 20, 40, 60, 80. That's 90 minus 20. That's 70. Yeah, attacking with this Darkrai feels pretty bad. We could have Max Elixir to Malamar. I think we should go ahead and Max Elixir, but we'll just put 1 on Darkrai if we hit. We do. This is why I kind of wish I ran more than just the 2 Sky Fields, because it would be really nice to have one now. We'll just hold the Dark Patch, and we'll go ahead and Colress. And draw several cards. We don't want to end. My opponent hasn't played a supporter this game yet, so they might just have like kind of a dead hand, which we'll try to play around with if we can. And just hit for a little bit of damage here with Darkrai, and hope they stay asleep as well. Next turn we can Delinquent, potentially. So we get 110, so we will be 2-hit KOing, and my opponent does stay asleep. Very nice. Malamar-EX coming in clutch. My opponent can Guzma out of this, but they will need another Mega and another Spirit Link and an Energy. But, yeah, we just see a Juniper. So they top-decked the supporter, it looks like, because they would have probably played Juniper last turn. Maybe they just didn't want to get rid of the Dimension Valley or the Max Potion. Maybe they were fine just hanging on to those cards, so I don't disagree with it, I guess. On to our turn. We could Hex Maniac here. We could Delinquent, get rid of their Stadium, force them to have another Stadium. I don't hate it. And we can put them back to sleep with Malamar. I don't want to put too many energies on this guy since we are pretty heavily damaged here. Delinquent or Ghetsis could be okay. Ghetsis does prevent him from having Max Potion in his hands. He probably has access to a supporter, but I think we'll just go for Ghetsis and see what happens here. Getting rid of Max Potions. He does have Valley, and we do leave him with pretty much a dead hand. He has Guzma and Spirit Links, but other than Hex Maniac, he doesn't have much. We'll draw a couple cards. We can go ahead and Compressor. We'll get rid of... Oh, we didn't have AZ in the deck. Oops. I should have checked that and known that. But we do have 2 Darkness Energies left, just 2. We'll get rid of Sudowoodo, we'll get rid of the other Dark Patch. And I think we want to leave everything else in the deck to search out, potentially. We can take Sky Field off prizes here, which would be pretty nice. We know my opponent has another Stadium in hand. We didn't see Energy, right? We saw Stadium, Hex, Giratina, Stadium, Hex, Giratina, Guzma. Stadium, Hex, Giratina, Guzma. Okay, so they don't have anything. So I think we'll just attach to Darkrai and hit him with a Dark Pulse. 130. That means next turn if we get a Fighting Fury Belt and an Energy onto Dark Cloak Darkrai, we can take a knockout. So yeah, the random Ghetsis can definitely come in clutch, that is for sure, and it turns out right there it definitely did. We'll be able to knock out Gardevoir on the next turn, and if we could knock it out with Darkrai, that would be very nice. We do see the Guzma from my opponent. We have one ourselves. We'll definitely just get rid of Shaymin after the Sudowoodo here, so we know they still have a dead hand, and pass on to our turn. We can Guzma ourselves, bring this guy back up. We don't have a Dark Energy, unfortunately, but we can still just take a knockout on the Gardevoir. So we'll Dark Pulse, take 2 prizes, and my opponent is just chilling in top deck mode right now. We get AZ, we get Skyfield, 2 very good prizes to grab. And Sudowoodo comes to the active. We can Guzma bring up a Gardevoir. Ooh, he top decks an in. Very nice. So let's see off of 4 cards what we're able to grab. We get Skyfield, we get Darkrai. Skyfield unfortunately won't do much for us until we get rid of Sudowoodo. But if we top deck Fury Belt, we could go in with a Dark Cloak, and if he Mega Evolves to end his turn here, just to put a little more damage on whatever he Mega Evolves. I don't hate that. And we're going to see the Shaymin set up for 1 here. That does open up a Guzma knockout play for us, potentially. And he is just going to Mega Evolve to end his turn. Let's see what we get on the top. Ultra Ball. Not going to help us out too much here. I think we'll just hold the energy, actually, so we can maybe use Hypnosis next turn. And we could play Sky Field, but if he plays like Kukui or something, that does give him the option to one-hit KO us. So I think we'll just kind of chill with what we've got. Next turn, we may be able to set up another Darkrai-EX, a fresh one. So if we can do that, that would be very nice. And we do go on odd prizes, which is unfortunate, but we definitely need to knock it out. Sudowoodo is pretty annoying because we want to have a bunch of Dark Energies in play, and in order to have a bunch of Dark Energies in play, we really need our bench spots. So we see Field Blower will get rid of the Fighting Fury Belt. Could have gotten rid of Dimension Valley as well, but smartly chooses not to do that. And we see VS Seeker come out, probably going to go for an N and put us down to just 3 cards. Yep. So we have lots of VS Seekers left. I think just 2 VS Seekers, actually, because we prized one. 2 VS Seekers. We've got at least 1 Ultra Ball, unless we prize 2 more. But yeah, okay, we get an N, we get a Max Elixir. Pretty good stuff to work with. And we see Despair Ray. Hits us for 120. Going to discard a few Pokemon there. And we get an Ultra Ball on the top. Very nice. So we definitely just Ultra Ball away in and Max Elixir. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20. Yeah, we're like never one-shotting this. I'd rather have the Darkrai if we get a Sky Field. So we'll go ahead and get rid of these things. Get the Shaymin. Oh no, we do have 3 VS Seekers in the deck. Never mind. I thought we had prized one. Okay, so we can go Shaymin set up. Do have 2 Sky Fields, so hitting either of them would be nice. Even something like a Hex Maniac would be good. Delinquent would be okay. There's Delinquent. So we're not going to set up for any more cards. We can Delinquent. Let's see what he gets rid of. Even though it's not putting him to 0, it's forcing him to discard 3, so maybe making some awkward choices. Yeah, it gets rid of Juniper Switch and something else. What was it? Juniper Switch and Max Potion, right? Oh yeah, he's got... Okay, yeah, because it's not showing Stacked View. Okay, I was confused there for a second. Turn Stacked View back on. We'll go ahead and put Sky Field in play. We can double Dark Patch to the Darkrai. We will go down to a 0-card hand, but our board presence is just so strong that I really don't mind it. We could Restoration. No real reason to do that. I guess if he does, that would let us bump Shaymin and Hoopa, or Shaymin and Malamar, something like that. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, so we're hitting 180 after we put this guy to sleep. So definitely do it. Go ahead and do that. If we had 2 more Dark Energies in the discard, we could Restoration for the knockout, but unfortunately won't be able to do that. Resistance is annoying, and my opponent stays asleep. My opponent's probably getting a little frustrated, not gonna lie. But if he bumps the stadium, we just bump Shaymin. And we do see the Max Potion, okay. 3rd one, so he's only got 2 left. And let's see if they've got anything else. VS Seeker. We should have assumed that they had a supporter because, or we did assume that they had a VS Seeker or another supporter, since off the Delinquent they did discard a Juniper. But gonna choose to go for Juniper here. Maybe if we kept the energy in our hand, they would have gone for N, but I really wanted to put them to sleep to keep them from getting damage in play if we could. We do see another Rayquaza, or excuse me, Gardevoir. Just thinking about Sky Field decks, thinking about Megas, definitely thinks about Rayquaza, but yeah, we'll see what my opponent can do here. Pull up, see what they bring up with the pull-up ability. Maybe just going to grab some Shaymins. I'm not sure. I'm going to get a Gardevoir and a Shaymin. Is that their only Shaymin in the discard? No, they have 2 more. He could have gotten Sudowoodo there, which might have been annoying. Going to go ahead and choose to bench Gardevoir and attach a Spirit Link to it. Draws 2 cards. I wonder what he's digging for. Maybe he plays Escape Rope, and that's what he's looking for here? And, ooh, they stay asleep still, so that's pretty good for us. We'll just go ahead and Dark Pulse. Hits 180. And stays asleep still. That is pretty low odds that they would flip 3 tails and continue to stay asleep, so worked out for us. They could Guzma here, and that would let them take a knockout maybe, if they have another Energy or a Dimension Valley. And they'll probably go after either Darkrai or Malamar. I could see either one being good. Definitely going to go after Darkrai, it seems. But this will allow us to get energies back in play with Darkrai-GX. And if we top deck another... no, we would need 2 energies more to knock out, to get a one-hit knockout. But going to go ahead and attach to the back Darkrai, or the back Gardevoir, excuse me. We'll discard Shaymin-EX. Hoopa and Malamar are both easy targets for our opponent, of course, but we can put Sky Field in play and try to do something with that. So we will send up... Chose not to discard the Mega. I definitely would have discarded this Mega if I was my opponent. 100%. We get Dowsing Machine. So we know he's not knocking us out. Yeah, definitely would have discarded that. I really don't want to play Skyfield. Down 2 Dimension Valleys. Because I really want to be able to Dowsing Machine, but... yeah, feels kind of bad, but I think we need to go ahead and play it. That's 2 more turns we have to wait to potentially top deck out. We'll go ahead and Restoration. Just do a little bit more damage so that we can easier take knockouts with Darkrai's Night Spear, excuse me. So next turn we actually could potentially... I know there's no energy, but I guess we could do that to bump Hoopa. No, there's too many easy prizes. It doesn't make sense. We'll just chill right there. We'll go ahead and Dark Pulse, hit for 180 still, I think. Yep. So next turn, we could potentially win if we get a Dark Energy. We can Night Spear and take our last 4 prizes in one turn. Take our last 3 prizes. Benching the Execute as well gives us an out, but my opponent's probably just going to want to Shaymin set up here. That's why they're doing all this. All we need is 1 more Dark Energy, and we'll be able to knock him out with Night Spear. Unless he discards this off of the Despair Ray, which he should have done it last turn, but chose not to, because that opened him up to getting Night Speared, but we didn't have an energy, unfortunately. Yeah, we definitely would have Night Speared if we could have. Acerola, gonna pick up the Gardevoir. That is unfortunate. Gonna send up the other one. So we have to continue the one-shot trend, or one-shot attempt, excuse me. Gonna go ahead and get another energy and a fairy, or a Spirit Link and an energy. Again, I really think my opponent should discard this Gardevoir. We'll see if they do it or not. This game is definitely not over. Gonna go ahead and stretch her back, Dragonite, Shaymin, and a Mega. They are down 3 via Seekers, however. Okay, and Smartly does get rid of the Gardevoir there. We get Dark Patch. No Dark Energies in the discard. We can just kind of retreat and prevent him from taking knockouts until next turn. I think we should do that. Going to Darkrai Pass. Force him to have Guzma. Last via Seeker or last Guzma to take a knockout this turn. Gonna actually Hex. So that sucks because the Darkrai is stuck active now. We have to get another Dark Energy, which we can get. And gonna go ahead and put another energy on the active. So we have to get another energy to manually retreat, or we could Guzma here. We could Dowsing Machine for Guzma and knock out Gardevoir EX. Take our last, go down to just 1. We didn't prize any via Seeker. Did we prize supporters? I don't remember. We could also Delinquent, but he put another energy in case we did that. So let's see. We Guzma, knock this out, take 2 prizes. He knocks this out in return. And then we have to get another energy off of either prizes to try to knock him out with Darkrai. We might have to go for like a... this is tough, guys. Okay, we're going to go ahead and Dowsing Machine. I think this is the best option for us take the prizes. And then we could also just get double Dark Patch. Oh no, we don't have 2 Dark Patches left. Never mind. I was gonna say we could get, if we get multiple energies on a Darkrai-GX, we can potentially knock him out with Dead End. But we did prize a Juniper, so we got one of those out of the prizes. I couldn't remember if we prized supporters or not. Always a good thing to check for instances such as that. So my opponent's gonna Propagation. We don't have any energy acceleration left. Hardly. He didn't Hex, right? We have abilities, so we just send up something that can retreat. Oh, that was pretty good. That was a good top deck. So we have to hope our opponent doesn't have their last VS Seeker here. No reason to Fury Belt anything. So we can Oblivion Wing for 10. Oh, does the 20 help us if we are fighting Fury Belted? I don't think so. Oblivion Wing for 10, get an energy, put it onto Darkrai-GX. And we're going to try to set up a Dead End GX for game. But if my opponent has his last VS Seeker, last Guzma here, that will be pretty unfortunate. There's Jirachi. Is it in the deck? Very close game. Let's see if he has it. It could be in his last 2 prizes. Ooh! No Guzma in deck. He probably does only play 2, though, and there's 2 in the discard. So his last Guzma would have to be through a VS Seeker, and since he benched the Jirachi in the execute, he'd also have to have an energy to retreat these things. Is our last prize our last Dark Patch? If so, that makes this it's impossible to win the game this turn if that's the case. So my opponent just wanted to take the knockout there, it looks like. We could also just try to 2-hit KO him with Dark Cleave. In him to 1 Dark Cleave, or Hex Dark Cleave. I think we end to 1 Dark Cleave. I think that's the safest play. That is the safest play. End to 1 and try to 2-hit KO him with Dark Cleave. Since we're not affected by resistance, but it'd be a 2-hit KO regardless. So we go to 1 card, he goes to 1 card. So unless this last card is his last VS Seeker. He didn't have it in that big hand before. And we'll Dark Cleave. On to my opponent's turn. Do they have their last Guzma? Did they get their last VS Seeker? Very close game here, guys. Let's see if they've got it. They haven't conceded. They haven't attacked. Oh, they got the last VS Seeker off the end to 1. Oh, that feels so bad. Very close game. I wonder if I could have done anything differently to lock that game up. I'll have to go back and watch it, but that feels so bad. A long game like that. We went up early. If we had gotten another energy that turn to knock out the benched Gardevoir, we would have won the game, but we just didn't have one. That's really depressing to lose the first game of the video and have it be such a long game that was so close like that. But we will try to grab another one. We have to redeem ourselves if we can. Let's see what happens. We'll look for another opponent. Yeah, I wonder if I could have played anything differently there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So we're going up against Hello, I am Philip. Hello, Philip. How's it going? I think I saw Fire, Grass, Colorless, so it could be Vespiquen, Flarebees. We will choose to go first. Can also be a harder matchup for us since we just don't prize trade very well. We'll start Malamar so we can Ultra Ball away the Darkrai. And let's see what else my opponent gets. They put down 2 Pokemon, so yep, looks like it will be Flarebees. So we'll go ahead and Ultra Ball away Guzma and Darkrai. With this, we'll just grab Hoopa. And I think we need to try to go for that turn 1 Ghetsis. I know that this is kind of like a... I don't know, people hate Ghetsis, I know, but I think we really need to go for it. Against these Compressor decks, it can just be so important to potentially leave our opponent with nothing. So go ahead and Hoopa-EX Scoundrel Ring. We'll go grab Jirachi, Darkrai, and Darkrai. We have Juniper in our hand for the next turn. We'll go ahead and Compressor. We'll get rid of a Darkrai-GX, 2 Darkrai-GXs, and we get rid of Colress or AZ or something like that. I think we get rid of AZ. I think that's fine. Go ahead and go Jirachi-EX for Stellar Guidance for the Ghetsis on turn 1. Like I said, good against these Compressor decks. Let's see if we can stick him. Looks like we did not. I was like, looks like we did not. So he does have a Juniper. Double colors Juniper, though. We actually might have helped him there. He probably likes having those cards back in the deck, for sure. We'll give him the well played as well. He's being a nice guy, giving us the well played symbol. So we'll go ahead and attach an energy to the Darkrai. We'll pretty easily be able to attach one next turn, it looks like, to the active. And should we go ahead and Max Elixir? Yeah, let's go ahead and Max Elixir. We hit it. And we'll go ahead and pass. On to my opponent's turn. See what they can do. We won't play Sky Field yet. We'll try to bump if they play a stadium. A lot of these decks do play Tropical Beach, so... Yep, they get the Juniper, and... Ooh, they top decked another DCE, though, so that's good, forcing them to get rid of another one, but they could very well be playing Special Charge. I imagine they are. Some do play Blacksmith. That's kind of older versions, though, play Blacksmith. But we see a pass onto our turn, so not a lot going for them. We could Ultra Ball and try to dig a little deeper with Shaymins and stuff. We could Ghetsis again, but that seems pretty risky. If anything, I think Hex Maniac will be the best supporter for us this turn. So we'll grab Shaymin. And Hex is in the deck. We could also Delinquent him to 1. If he's sitting on an Ultra Ball or something, that could mess them up. Okay, so we can Compressor and get that Delinquent. We can Compressor and get the Hex. We are taking a knockout and fighting Fury Belt, so pretty hard for him to get a knockout this turn, especially if we Hex. So I think Hex is the best option here. We'll go ahead and Hyper Hypnosis, not that it matters since we're taking the knockout. Go ahead and retreat because we need to do that before we Hex. We'll get rid of the Hex and a energy. There's none in here, right? Yeah, no energies in here yet. It feels weird getting rid of the energies. It's like always hard to decide. We could get rid of Colress, I guess, but we have Juniper in the discard. Rather leave more draw supporters in the deck. Sudowoodo could be good still in this matchup. I think we don't have another Compressor to get rid of, actually. That might be what we would have gotten rid of there. I guess we just get rid of 2 Darkness Energies. Feels kind of weird, but we can put 1 Darkrai in play. We actually will put 2 in play so that we bump Shaymin and Jirachi if he bumps our stadium. Or if we Delinquent, we could bump the stadiums as well. But Hex is going to be just the better option here. And yeah, we also didn't discard the the Delinquent. So go ahead and just Dark Pulse here. 130. That'll be enough to knock out basically everything in the deck. I guess we could have set up with Darkrai-EX here, but we can kind of get this guy as our later on attacker. So he does send up the EV with a DC on it and actually just concedes, so the Hex Maniac there being very, very good. The Ghetsis, unfortunately, didn't do much for us. That's kind of the risk of Ghetsis on turn 1, but these Compressor decks are just so reliant on items, it can definitely be worth it. So, short game for number 2, but we'll go ahead and grab another one. Long, hard-fought game 1. We ended up losing game 2 pretty quick, but ended up coming away with the win. And D-Roy, 92 here, has a Dark, Colorless, and Psychic deck. Probably going to be the Turbo Dark Mirror Match. I actually don't know if it's better to go first or second here. Probably first, always first, just to set up more, but if we can get a one-hit knockout on the very first turn of the game, we would need a lot of things to go our way. Not a great hand to do it. Actually, not a bad hand to do it. We'll have to see if we can make it happen. If we didn't prize Dark Cloak, this hand is going to be just fine. And we'll see if we can get the turn 1 knockout. What do we need? We need 8 energy in play. Yeah, the DCE, or sorry, whatever it's called. Fighting Fury Belt, that's what I was thinking of. That doesn't help our math in any way. We could try to power up a turn 1 Dark Cleave with Hyper Hypnosis, but then we need to hit... I mean, I guess that's probably easier to do. That is probably easier to do, actually, than... No, because we have to... Maybe if we had... No, we can't do it. If we had started the Malamar, we could maybe go for that. But since we have to attach to Malamar and attach to Shaymin to retreat it, and Malamar only works when we attach from hand, yeah, I think this is going to be the way to go. My opponent is going to Compressor here, probably just get rid of a couple Darkrai-GX of their own and maybe an Energy. Yep, 2 Darkrai's and an Energy, it looks like. And Compressor again, wow, double Compressor. Pretty solid opening hand. And we'll see what they get rid of with this. Maybe supporters or something like that? Ooh, did they get rid of the Ghetsis there? Looks like they did, so they might be going for that turn 1 Ghetsis. Does limit our options a bit, but we do have an N at least. Our hand would have been great if we could have kept our trainers. But my opponent is going for that turn 1 Ghetsis. Going to get rid of 2 items. He'll draw a couple cards, but hopefully this kind of limits his setup a little bit, kind of focusing himself on this play. And actually, if we top deck Ultra Ball, that technically helped us out. We have more cards we can draw. We have more options to draw with Shaymin next turn. If we didn't prize our other one, at least. Gonna go ahead and double Restoration here, get some energies in play. Let's see if he has an attachment for the turn onto the active. Looks like we're gonna see the Dark Patch. So maybe he's playing Lasers or Malamar himself, so he can set up that turn to Dead End GX. Does miss his Max Elixir though. He did discard a bunch of energies off of the Ghetsis. We see the Choice Band, so he can hit 160 with Dark Cleave. And let's see if he has anything else to follow up. I would imagine that he has another supporter in his hand because he went for the turn 1 VS Seeker for Ghetsis. Like Compressor Ghetsis and VS Seeker for it. That's kind of a bad play if he doesn't have a follow-up supporter. So I don't really mind inning him here. But, you know, maybe he did like kind of jetline himself into that one play. We'll just have to see what we top deck. Like I said, Ultra Ball would be excellent on the top here. But we go on to our turn, and we just get another Darkness Energy. So we'll go ahead and attach, and we'll go ahead and end. Have to find another Pokemon. We do find a couple of options here. Actually, pretty solid stuff right here. So we can go ahead and Ultra Ball away a Darkrai and a Darkness Energy. We can get Hoopa, and go get Darkrai-EX and Shaymin. Probably just those two. But I do want to get both of those. So we'll go ahead and Hoopa for Darkrai-EX and Shaymin. That'll give us, that'll take up all our bench spaces. We did prize a Sky Field. Yeah, I really kind of want the third Sky Field after playing some more games with this, guys. I think you could cut the third Darkrai for the third Sky Field. So yeah, we'll go grab these. Go ahead and bench Darkrai, bench Malamar, bench Darkrai, and set up for 5. We get a Ghetsis of our own, we get our own Compressor, we get Max Elixir. So no attacking for us this turn. We could send something up that won't get knocked out, like Malamar maybe. Yeah, I think we send up Malamar here, but we'll go ahead and Compressor. Get rid of some Darkrai-GXs. Maybe like Colress seems pretty good. Yeah, we'll get rid of Colress. How many Dark Energies in here? Just 1. Yeah, we'll get rid of these guys. We'll go ahead and Max Elixir, see if we can hit. Ugh. Pretty unfortunate whiff. We'll go ahead and retreat, so it's less likely he's knocking this out, and we'll pass. We also get to use Hypnosis next turn. Yeah, that whiff on Max Elixir feels pretty bad, but it can happen. Had 8 energies in the deck, right? 34 cards. So he is playing Verbank, so probably playing Laser. So he could knock out Malamar with a Dark Cleave, and that would be pretty bad. But he's going to go grab Lele here, so no Hoopa from my opponents. I assume he's not playing Hoopa if he's not playing Jirachi, but Max Elixir. If he gets us as me again, that's kind of crazy, but it would mess us up pretty badly. Let's see if he has a Laser. He does, so he can Dark Cleave knock us out, as opposed to having to go for Dead End. Darkrai comes down. Let's see if he goes what he goes for with Lele. Ooh, maybe he doesn't have his Dark Cloak Darkrai, though. If he doesn't, that would be really nice. But we don't have a great follow-up. We'll have to hope to wake up. And he's actually just going to go for a Colress himself. So let's see if he can find his Dark Cloak Darkrai off of this Colress for 9 cards. And he does find it. Okay. So he'll retreat into Darkrai-GX, and Dark Cleave will be enough for him to knock us out. Feels bad, man. Feels real bad. Dowsing Machine, let's see what he gets back with this. Maybe the Verbank City Gym or a Laser or something like that. So he's playing the 2-2 split of the Darkrai's. I have considered that as well, but I kind of just like having 3 copies of our main attacker. Looks like he's going to go for a Max Elixir, just try to get more energies in play. And yeah, the turn 1 gets us, slowed us down a lot. He's going to go ahead and Dark Patch. Hits onto Darkrai. And Dark Cleave. We'll do 160. We will die to the poison. We would have stayed asleep, but not that that is relevant. Go ahead and put Shaymin into the active. And we get a Dark Patch, so that's something at least. So to knock this guy out, we need 7 energies in play. We only have 1 Dark Energy in the discard. So we'll go ahead and Restoration. It might seem weird to not Dark Patch onto Darkrai, but this helps us get another energy in play, and if we get Battle Compressor on the other end of Colress. And we go ahead and do this now because it lets us draw 1 more card from Colress. So we'll Colress for 10. We do get Compressor, we get energies. Okay, this is looking pretty nice. So let's... we won't be able to get enough to knock out, but we can hit something kind of hard at least. So let's see. We would have needed 1 more energy. So we would hit... We hit 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 30. Yeah. 24. No, we'd need 8. Hang on. 20, 40, 60, 80, 120, 40, 60, 80. Oh, we needed 3 more energies. My math was bad there for some reason. Okay, so we'll go ahead and Max Elixir. This is not looking hot because he will just pretty easily be able to knock us out with a Dark Pulse. 20, 40, 60, 80, 120, 40, 60. I think we just kind of have to hope he kind of whiffs here. Pseudo... Yeah, we'll get rid of Pseudo. With Dark Energy. Ghetsis, I guess. Since we're probably not going to use it. So we 20, 40, 60, 80, 120. Okay, so we just really have to hope he kind of whiffs the knockout. This was our best play, I think. Would have been nice if we could have gotten one more energy in play as well, so we could clean this up with a Night Spear potentially, but we weren't able to make that happen. Laser. So all he needs... Oh yeah, he can just dead end GX as well. But then we can end him down to 2. So maybe, and we're taking a knockout as well. Well, if we can get, we need like another Dark Patch or another Max Elixir, and we're taking a knockout. So he does go for the dead end GX. Send up the Darkrai-GX of our own. That was a pretty good top deck. So I think we just do this and attach here. We have to hit a Max Elixir either way or a Dark Patch, and we'd rather patch or Max Elixir onto this guy. And we'll just end him to 2. We get Sky Field. And yeah, we can Dowsing Machine. Okay, so we're okay. We're okay. We'll Sky Field to prevent him from getting more damage. Get rid of Jirachi Darkness. Get a patch. Patch to Darkrai. Maybe it would have been better to knock him out with a Night Spear. Go ahead and Restoration. Yeah, it probably would have been better to knock him out with Dark Cloak, actually. Or Night Spear. Yeah. Because then we could retreat into Dark Pulse Darkrai and try to knock him out the next turn with Dark Pulse Darkrai. But we didn't do that. He sends up his own Darkrai. Let's see what kind of options he's got. Restoration, gonna get more energies back. He needs 8 energies in play to knock us out. Oh, never mind. He just Guzma's Shaymin and wins that way, so... Yeah, that was, we just kind of had some slow starts there. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I will still post this video. I know I lost 2 of the 3 games. I know some people don't like it when I post videos where I lose games, but the reason I do this is just showcase weaknesses and strengths of the deck. I would definitely probably try to include the 3rd Sky Field in this list. But yeah, we did win the game against Night March. Ghetsis was good. Or not Night March, excuse me, Vespiquen. Or Flareon. And then the super close game 1, I do want to showcase that because I think Gardevoir can be a harder matchup for us. So those are the games for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of Turbo Dark in general for Expanded. Let me know what changes you'd make to this list. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. As always, leave a like down below if you enjoyed. And that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Until next time, take care.